I brought this to Frank. He then came to us and say, this is it. This is the project. We need to start this company like that. And we decided that we were going to follow his vision. Here you can see that we have almost 50 million ounces of silver equivalent. The system is much bigger. Only 4% has been probably explored so far, and we need to keep going. Here you can see that we have power line, a railroad, a gas pipeline, and a road coming towards the property.
All right, today we're having a discussion with Joaquin Marias, the VP of Exploration and Development of Argenta Silver, the pure play silver company in Latin America that mining legend Frank Giustra dreams of making for decades, per his own words. That might just be an interesting value proposition or speculation opportunity for you watching, or at least that's what we'll try to figure out today. So Joaquin, it's great to have you on the channel. Welcome. Perhaps we can start off with a short and sweet high-level overview from your side.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure. Well, on my side, I am a geologist. My name is Joaquin Marias, and I am the VP of Exploration and Development from Argenta Silver. As I say, I'm from Argentina, and I have been working for the last 3 years in the Fiore Group, helping the Fiore Group to bring new ideas and to bring new projects online. So I have experience in different parts of the world, exploring for different styles of deposits, and this time it's time to be at the front of Argenta Silver, which is a company that Frank Giustra, Sean Kunkun, and myself formed and put together late last year.
All right, thank you for that overview. Perhaps we can take it to your main property, the El Quevar property. Frank Giustra, I believe, describes it as "this is it." Could you perhaps take us along? Why is he saying that about this project?
Yes, of course. Well, first of all, I would like to show you the front page of our presentation, which it's mentioning the name of El Quevar project, but as well here in the presentation, in the front page, you can see where most of the mineralization has been found so far. It's true what you're saying it. I brought this to Frank late last year, and I told Frank, look, this is happening with this project. There is an opportunity, and El Quevar, it's the third largest undeveloped silver project from Argentina, and actually it has a pure silver resource of 50 million ounces combined in between inferred and indicated. When I said that, Frank confessed to me that for 40 years he has been looking for a pure silver project, which are extremely rare. So we went through it, through the details, through the technical stuff. He then came to us and say, this is it. This is the project. We need to start this company like that, with this project. And we decided that we were going to follow his vision on creating a long-lasting silver company focused in Latin America, and considering that it was going to be silver, we decided to name it Argenta Silver, which is a silver, and that's how our ticker also came to our minds, which is AGAG, so it's the silver company. And we started with El Quevar project that it's located in Salta province of Argentina.
All right, thank you for taking us along there. I really appreciate that. And you already have a resource in place, roughly 50 million ounces of silver. If we convert that into an in situ value, and I don't mean NPV for the viewers watching, but that would be about $1.5 billion in the ground currently value-wise. If I were to incorporate a different mining legend, Rick Rule, he often describes tier 1 mining assets as having about 10 billion in situ recoverable material. Perhaps you can take us along what the exploration potential is, and is the potential there to grow into a tier 1 asset at some point?
Yes, of course. So I would like to go through the presentation very quickly, so some forward-looking statements. I want to show you, first of all, the location of the project, because that's something relevant, and it's true what you're saying about Rick Rule, but that's a tricky question, because actually, what do we really have in the project? We know that we have, or it's what we have plus all the potential. So here we are looking mostly at the potential of the project. The project is located in the Salta province in the north of Argentina, which is one of the best jurisdictions to work, which it means that we are not going to find any kind of problems in the future to develop this project, while in other regions of the world you will find some issues. So that's one of the most important points to touch here, along with these other things. Location in terms of the geological potential. So this is a volcanic complex you can see here in this map. That El Quevar is actually a volcanic complex that it's located over that red line, which is one of the major structural corridors that it's in South America. And this structural corridor also hosts some of the biggest mines in the world, like Chuquicamata and El Abra. Chuquicamata is one of the biggest copper porphyries in the world, and it's located over this corridor because the geology is favorable for that. So we hold 57,000 hectares. That's another point to touch. Huge amount of ground to cover, and you can see the yellow in the center of the image where we have that pike and the shovel where the mine is, or the mine site would be. That area, it's one of the alteration bowls, and there are 3 other alteration bowls that we have there, or with mineralization inside, and then after that we have this, that it's what you mentioned, Stan. So I'm starting to make a case here, right? I'm starting to add things together. So here you can see that we have almost 50 million ounces of silver equivalent. So these are 45.3 million ounces of silver at a grade of 482 grams per ton, and that's in the indicated category. And then we have 4.1 million ounces of silver at a grade of 417 grams per ton on the inferred category. So this is a great base for us. These are the fundamentals, and we are starting with this. So it's much better to start with all this infrastructure, with all this grade, with all this resource, rather than starting just an exploration project from scratch. Here you can see as well the resource. You can see that our resource is outcropping. That's something else that we should consider. It's outcropping in one of the zones where we have oxide, we have different zones, and it's open. So back to your point from Rick Rule. How big has to be a deposit? Well, maybe should be much bigger to be considered for some things if you want to start mining this right now. But so far, we have 50 million ounces. The deposit is completely open. We have all the infrastructure. I can talk a bit more about that in the next minutes in the presentation. But the resource is completely open, and you can see that we can even start adding ounces by infilling the deepest portion of what it has already been drilled. So I think that it's a great start for us. We are not only staying with El Quevar, we are also looking at projects that are in some other areas of Latin America. We are looking at some other countries. The idea is to acquire projects that are also close to production or in production. So that's more or less the vision, and we can keep talking about.
Yeah, that's great, and it would be amazing to talk about that long-term vision in just a second. But thank you for taking us along on this exploration potential. It's definitely very exciting. You highlighted that it's outcropping to one side. And does the mineralization stop there? Have you found like the end of the mineralization there? Because we see some drill holes going a bit further towards the left on our screen. Is there a chance for it to run further to the left, or is it mostly towards the right and downwards?
Well, that's a great question, and thank you for asking that. So here in this image, what you are looking is at the resource that we already know. And that's what I was mentioning a minute ago. This is what we know today. The potential here is what we don't know, or what we are smelling around. So to your point, on the left of this image, you can see that there is also high-grade mineralization, and to the right, obviously, it seems that the mineralization continues. So we need to keep drilling there. There is, as I say, there is not that much density of drilling to include those drill holes that are on the right side of the image into the resource. So we need to infill those, and we need to step out from there to the right side of the image to find out how much more this deposit continues. But this is not only it. This is the image that we need to see, and this is probably going to answer your question. So the previous image that we were looking with the beautiful resource laying down and plunging into the ground, that's what it's enclosed by the red line that you see there, that it says resource boundary. Then we have all these other targets. This is a plan view map. So here you can see things that are very important, and I want to point out that it's very important here to see that there are roads inside. We have over 60 kilometers of internal roads that are 100% rehabilitated. We can drive on those, so we don't need to build the roads. And we have plenty of drill pads that have been already built and that we can still be using. So that's a lot of cost that we are going to be saving and that we don't need to build. So in terms of potential, these targets, they have been very poorly followed up. For example, the target that you see in the center, that it's called Manicopan, you see that there are 2 meters at 2,960 grams per ton of silver, and that there are some other intercepts of high grade that they haven't been properly followed up. But that target that it's Manicopan, for example, with the target that it's on the left side of the image, that it's called Beans, they haven't been put together, they haven't been connected. There is no much drilling in between one and the other. So that's making them disconnected, and we need to start connecting these points. The same happens with Argentina, which is the target that it's on the far right of the image, where you can see that there are 8 meters at 779 grams per ton of silver. This is a great intercept, and it's been very poorly drilled and not followed at all. So the potential here is not only on the resource boundary, on the resource that we already have, on what we know. The potential here is on what we smell, that there's something else. And that's, again, answering your first question, and this phrase that you mentioned about Rick Rule. Yes, the potential here is huge. We think that we can multiply this by many times, and we believe that we can add ounces rapidly because the evidence that mineralization is down there, it's very clear. Now we need to start putting together the different dots and trying to connect things in the deposit. This Stein, what you are looking there in the screen, what your public is looking now at the screen, it's only 4% of the property. The rest of the property, it's been drilled just a bit, or it's been explored, but not thoroughly. And we know that there is gold, we know that there is more silver around. We have the samples from the historical database, and we inherited all that information, and we know that the samples are there, that the rocks are there, and that they contain mineralization. So the system is much, much bigger. Only 4% has been probably explored so far, and we need to keep going. That's the upside potential that we identified here in the Fiore Group. That's why we grabbed this project, because we believe that very quickly we can advance this project to many more ounces.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much for that overview. 4% of your property being explored thus far is absolutely crazy. Quickly to highlight also the comment you made about roads for the viewers at home. Oftentimes, out of a drilling budget, a large component of that is getting the drill rig and the crew there and sustaining an operation there. So having roads, definitely a huge cost saver, like you were outlining. Perhaps just quickly for me and for viewers at home, how should we visualize this ore body? Is it a classic vein style ore body running all over the project, or is it relatively homogeneous where it is found thus far?
Before answering that question, I will say that I love your question. I love these kind of questions because these are the kind of questions that educate the public about the potential of this deposit. So this is an epithermal high sulfidation deposit. So these epithermal deposits, they mean that they are in an upper portion of the deposit. They can be very big, they can be very rich, and the high sulfidation means that there will be a lot of grade. You can have silver, as we are looking here, and you can have gold that we know that it's there, the samples are there, and we have recently released a study that we did that it's showing us 2 more targets, one for silver and one for gold. These targets have been generated through the information that we have from the soils, and these are the evidence, the crumbles that the system is leaving for us to know that there is more. So this is an epithermal high sulfidation system. Because of that, it's that I brought a specialist in this kind of systems into the team. That's the chief geologist that it's now in Argentina. His name is Guillermo Peralta. He has been working for Kinross in the early days of Fruta del Norte in Ecuador, and in the early days of Lobo Marte in Chile. Big deposits. He's also been part of the discovery group from Cerro Negro in Argentina, which was a project from Goldcorp. And these animals are big. They are there around the world, and they have plenty of potential. Once you find them, they start growing up because, you know, the mineralization is very obvious, and these things can grow up quickly, very fast.
Yeah, highly interesting, and also interesting to see those bonanza grades on your project. If you were to go into a development story in the immediate to a long-term future, those higher grades could help, for example, creating a starter pit, or if you were to go on the ground, higher patches of grades for the front end of the curve. And perhaps we can talk about the longer-term philosophy for this project. How should an investor view this? Is it mostly exploring for the short term, or is there also a development story attached to it?
That's also a good question, and I would like to talk now at this moment about the infrastructure, because that's talking a lot about how we are going to address things from now on. So this is one of the projects with the best infrastructure in the north of Argentina. Here you can see that we have a power line, a railroad, a gas pipeline, and a road coming towards the property. We have 2 solar farms located in the north of the project. One of those are the biggest solar farm that you will find in South America. The project is located at 190 kilometers from the province of Salta, which is very, very close for the north of Argentina to be that close, actually, from a city. So this infrastructure is actually telling you that it's been done with some purpose. It's been done with the purpose of development, right? I mean, no government is going to build a gas pipeline to a project without thinking that it could be developed. El Quevar is the 3rd largest silver deposit in Argentina, that it's undeveloped. So the government, when they realize about these things in the past, they start building this infrastructure. So this infrastructure is coming to the town of Pocitos, which you can see there in the map, and the town of Pocitos is very close to our project. The community is very supportive, and the idea always here was to build this project to put it in development. At the point that the previous owner, they start building mining infrastructure. And talking about mining infrastructure, what you see in the center of this image, those are a storage and warehouse, and there is a power house. You can see there also a pumping gas station. So they start building all this infrastructure, considering that if they could advance more this project, they were going to put it on production. On top of that, they build this amazing camp. This is not a render. This is a real image that we took with a drone very recently. You can see here how big is this camp. And these are not tents. This is a solid camp. And this was also built with the purpose of future development, or start developing things. So all this infrastructure that is there, that has been meant to be for development, we have in consideration that, and we understand the potential of the project. So our idea now is to grow this up as much as we can. And the answer is, well, are we going to put it on production or not? Well, we have to see how it goes, and we need to, I can't make futurology. I do geology, but I don't make futurology, right? But all this infrastructure is meant for something there. And actually, it's as well an advantage. If you're an investor and you're putting money here, a shareholder, that you're putting money here, we don't have to build a camp, we don't have to build roads, we don't have to build all this infrastructure that it's already in place. So at the point of developing this as a mine in the future, well, we will have to build mills or whatever it is. But the start, as I was telling you, we are starting with 50 million ounces of silver, pure silver, combining both resources with a camp, 60 kilometers of internal roads, gas pipeline, and the road and the power line and all those things that are there. So it's a great start. It's a project that actually has a lot of potential to be something else in the future, right?
All right. Thanks for taking us along there. Really appreciate it as well. And perhaps we can transition to the finances. I know you're a geologist. Sorry for bothering you with the boring finances, but I would love to ask some questions regarding that. I know you raised about 15 million Canadian dollars back in October, right before the company went public. And I know you acquired this project that we're talking about for about $3.5 million US. Perhaps you can take us along how the cash reserve is currently looking like, and how that maps together with the outline you just described regarding exploration and development work that you are about to do.
Okay, so we have $9 million in the bank. That's our working capital. And it's true, we raised $15 million at 15 cents. For that, we issue 100 million shares. There were already shares in the company because this was a shell company that we used to get this project, and that shell company already had shares inside. So there are 169 million shares outstanding in the market. As I say, we are fully cashed up. We have the $9 million in in working cap, and our idea is to split this program in two phases. Here you can see on the screen that the exploration plan for this season is split in two phases. Phase 1 will be we already complete the camp reconditioning, the internal roads rehabilitation, and we are already reloading historical drill core. We are going to be targeting by a surface program new targets in the property that we have already been disclosing those news, and with all that we will end up having a model of the deposit that it's going to help us target properly the drill targets. Those are going to be the ones that we will be addressing on phase 2. We hope that it's going to be in between Q2 and Q3. And to say something more about this, Stein, if you allow me, I would like to point this out, the company timeline. The company timeline for us is very important. Late August, I discovered this opportunity, I identified this, I brought the project, we did it very, very fast, due diligence. Beginning of September, we signed a letter of intent. The 20th of September, we did the private placement. We acquired the project. We finished the acquisition just a week after. And a month after that, we were back on trading as AGAG, as Argenta. And this would have been impossible if we wouldn't have used the shell company that we had. We were competing with other companies to acquire this project. This is a great opportunity, and there were many competitors in the market trying to get this. So getting back to trade so quickly and acquiring this project so quickly, well, it was only possible through the shell company. November and December, I was rehabilitating camps and roads. I put the team together, we gathered the people, and I promised the market, we are starting 2025 with phase 1 of exploration. And the 3rd of January, we were on the field. 15 days later, so today, or let's say yesterday, actually, we were already delivering news and results. So things are moving very quick. We have been multiplying our market cap. Things are going great. Today is the 21st of January, and today 100 million shares from the private placement from last year. Today they went free trading. Our share price is holding there, so we are very happy, and we think that we have plenty of potential. And that's the value that probably shareholders should see. That again, this is a company with a project that has the infrastructure, the ounces in the ground, a great market cap. We have a very, very good base of shareholders. Most of them are high net worth people. Things are moving fast. We are already delivering. We promised that we were going to start soon. We start soon. We are already delivering results to the market, and we will keep fulfilling the commitments.
Yeah, I think the speculation opportunity that is here is very clear. A highly interesting project in Argentina, of course, a very capable technical team, great infrastructure, also really good institutional backers. And that's actually what I quickly want to ask you as my last question for this interview, is regarding your backing and insider ownership. You have, of course, Frank Giustra behind the scenes. I also know you have Willem Middelkoop, a fellow Dutchman, a strategic advisor. Perhaps you can take us along how insider ownership is looking like for this company, and what the role of these institutional backers is within the firm.
Yeah, well, so until this free trading, we haven't actually put a management team in place, or we haven't brought any big groups of institutions, let's say, to manage some things, or manage part of our wealth, if you want to understand it like that. And what I mean is we haven't yet decided, because we were waiting for this free trading to start and to know how clean is going to be our shareholder base. So I think that from today on, we will have a much better picture, a much clearer picture of how our shareholder base is looking like. Inside there's obviously the people from the Fiore group, which we already mentioned, myself. We are part of this and we created this, so we are backing this up. There are some warrants that you will see there. Those are not related at all to the issued shares, and you will see some options as well that they are not related to the shares. The shares that we issued at 15 cents are single unit. Again, we issue those shares mostly to high net worth people, and the warrants were granted to the people that help us with a loan to secure the asset. The options were granted to most of the people that did the tremendous effort to put this together in less than 60 days at the very beginning. So warrants, options, and shares are not linking between them. And again, now we are going to see how is our shareholder base, and we will start to attract institutions inside. We will start to attract more support, more people into the equation, and the same will happen with analysts and all these groups that will start to now form a better picture of what we need for the company.
All right. Thank you so much for that great overview, Joaquin. I think the speculation opportunity, like already described, is very clear and an extremely interesting company. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks to you. Here in the screen you can see part of our team. This is a picture that it's very recent. It has only a couple of days, and that's our team in the project with the Argentine flag on the back, and you can find there my contact as well. So it's been a pleasure to be here, staying, and I hope that if anybody has any question, please just contact us. We are very pleased to keep growing and keep following our investors, our shareholders. And we want the best for them. We want the best for Quevar and the best for Argenta as well. So thank you very much.